Roosevelt was president forever when
yeah,
you were
long time.
growing up. Did that think anything about that kind of stuff, or
No, I think we just went along with it, you know, like you do today.
what did Grandma and Grandpa vote for? Do you know?
Well, they're Democrats until they got the restaurant, then they changed. To be in town, you gotta be Republican. Yeah. Well, Grandpa, we don't know how Grandpa voted. Think about it. He couldn't read or write. He probably.
He wouldn't pull the, well, he voted straight line. Even though he didn't like the guy, but if he was a Democrat, he pulled that lever.
He was loved. He really, a Grandma too, but he was really loved because he had so much bullshit, you know. He was called boss. Every time people went in, it was never, hey Tony, hey boss, and he'd say to them, hey boss, hey, what you do today? And then they'd tell him what they wanted to eat. He couldn't read or write. He'd remember, go in the kitchen and tell them what they wanted. They
never got what they ordered.
But as a father, though, I mean, so he worked at the mill, so he was never away. You don't remember him being away?
My father?
Yeah.
Oh no, he was never away.
So he's home every night. So you'd come home from school. Then what would you do when you got home from school?
I always sat in the kitchen and did my homework. I always remember that.
Nerd.
Yep.
And then, so you did your homework, and then what?
Then I went, as I got older, I had to go live with that Helen, who had the beauty shop because Nof was away.
I lived with her for quite a while.
With that Helen?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do hair too?
No. I used to take her out riding around looking for Uncle Noof, and he was cheating on her.
Oh yeah, well that I did.
You did? You had to ride around, and did you find him?
Yeah, well, that was,
Did you ever find him?
that's when he was a lot older.
Huh?
That's when he was a
I
lot
was in
older.
school. I was in high school when I had to live with her because Nof was in the service and she was afraid to live alone. So I'd go and do her housework and hated it every minute. Grandma made me go there and live with her and get paid.
What about Aunt Lila? What do we know about Aunt Lila?
Aunt Lila she was dull. She didn't have the fun that I did.
Why? What was the difference?
She didn't drink, she didn't smoke.
Did her
I
make up with
drank, I
people?
smoked. I had fun with the boys. You know, what do you do with the boys? Nothing, just kiss now and then. Nothing bad.
I don't know. What do you do?
Well, I don't know
Same
what
thing
you
you do
guys
now.
we just had good times. And Lila was very dull. She always wanted the things organized, you know. But,
You shared a room with her.
She
And
was single. We got along good. Shared the same bed.
you did.
She always wanted the house spotless. Moved all the. Grandpa said, "I never come home from work. I know where my chair is going to be." She always moved all the furniture every time she cleaned.
Still does it.
My furniture looks good there. Stays there.
She does now.
Yeah,
Moves all
she
the
still does.
furniture.
You go to her house, you never know.
And where did Uncle Carlo come from?
Next
Next
door.
door.
Okay.
And Grandpa.
So
used
you
to
don't know him, what Lila was doing.
Right. So was he happy about that or not?
No, oh no, I'm very unhappy. Because Uncle Carlo liked to drink a lot, and he still drinks too much. He wasn't happy. But, you know, they went along with it and accepted him. Well, they didn't like Don either. They said, Grandpa used to say, he lived far away. He got another wife over there. You going to marry him? You know, he got another wife.
All right. So.
And Mom?
Well.
Oh, well, they fell in
that's
love
after
with
the
her.
restaurant.
Their son was old. They wanted their son to get married. How old were you when you got married, brother?
Till I met Sylvia, then they got married.
That's
How old were you
after
when you got
the
married?
restaurant.
Huh?
That's after the restaurant.
34.
I said I do that some other night.
Oh, he was Karen's age.
What are you gonna do with all
Barbie's age.
this?
Barbie
Put
was
it on the tape?
34.
Well,
Karen was 44.
What, when Karen got married?
Yeah. Barbie was 34.
Really?
Oh. David, did I tell you David's going to move us up there? Did I tell you Karen lives in the middle in a townhouse?
Oh, yeah.
Empty one on each side. He's going to put a hole through the one where we're going to live. I'm going to cook the food, put it through the hole, but I don't ever have to go eat with him.
And then he passes it on through the barb on the other side.
Yeah.
There's one on each side of our townhouse empty right now.
were there people that you didn't like there?
Well, I'm sure there were. We just had good times. You know, we had nothing. We had no TVs or anything, so we...
Well, there you go. So television. When do you remember seeing a TV?
What's that?
When do you remember seeing a television?
First,
When we had the restaurant.
Yeah, we didn't
We
have
were
one
the
when we
first
got
ones in
married.
town to have,
Yeah.
TV, and then we first ones ever had color TV.
Really?
People used to go there and sit there
The
and watch.
boxing, Friday night boxing,
Oh, that was a
could
big
get in
night.
our place.
Nobody had TVs in them days.
We have,
Even the town people?
No.
What'd you listen to on the radio? You must have had a radio at home.
yeah.
Music.
Did you? I mean, so you got home from? Did you work from school?
Oh, we
you,
always made,
did you sit around and do?
well, okay, we got home before Grandma got out of work. She got out at 3:30. I always had to have a cup of coffee and rich saltine crackers for her.
I never got home till late because I played sports.
Yeah.
where his big is.
I hear it was by Irmin's chair before.
Was it? Okay.
So I was always the last one home.
We always made Grandma's coffee in the kettle and strained it. You know, we never used a percolator. And when she came home from work, we all sat down and we had crackers and oleo or butter probably, and she drank her coffee.
Did you have to eat dinner together?
We always did, always, everybody did in those days. Well, everybody got out of work same time. Everybody got out of work the same time. They all went to work at 6 and got out at 3:30, and Grandpa would work
Then
second
they used to
shift.
go to work in the bean field.
Yeah, then that her and Uncle George would go work in the bean field for the peas, and we'd be waiting for them. We'd pick up
That's where we spend the weekends.
piles for them. When their grandma used to come and pick the peas, and her and Uncle George would compete. And
They
that
had the
Marion
Jamaicans in the Bahamas.
Yeah. We drank out of their buckets of water, the blacks. You didn't know the difference. Everybody drank out of the same cup.
Did you have to do prayers at night like Grandpa did? Because he had to go. He had his kneeler, right? When he'd go in, did he just go in by himself?
Yeah.
No, they never told us to pray. I think we did that as we got older.
Well, I was an altar boy. I used to say my prayers. Till I got kicked off.
Why?
Well, Billy Harp and I, remember?
No.
We used to sit there, and Julian Brigland used to make us laugh all the time during the ceremony. During the gospel, I mean.
Oh, with Father Cassain?
Father Cassain turned around and kicked us off the altar.
In the middle of mass?
Right during the middle of the sermon, during the middle of gospel.
But
2 or 3 times.
Father Cassain had a funny voice. He was Irish. You couldn't understand him.
So you guys went to church with the townspeople?
Yeah.
Yeah, we all
Did y'all have to sit anywhere special or everybody
Well,
mixed?
years ago you paid for a pew, so you just sat there.
Oh.
We always had the same pew.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we
pew
sat
rep.
with Clarence Gaines sat
Yeah.
right in the same row with us. Oh, no, he was 1 row ahead of us.
But he
Big
was
pew
very
rent them
calm.
days. That's what them little things are in the back of the seats.
Yeah.
That was your name was on that. That was your seat.
Did you ever go on a vacation anywhere?
We used to take the bus and go to Utica. June and I'd go to Aunt Dolly's. No, family vacation, no.
You never went to New York or Florida or anything like that? Or?
Never. Nobody did. The vacations they stayed home and had company.
Only guy done that was the ultra.
But we didn't know any better.
ultra
Nobody,
rich.
even downtown people hardly went. You know, you didn't know any different.
Well, you didn't have the transportation you got today.
But the first
If you
time
went to
Grandma,
Florida by car years ago, it took you a week.
well, we used to go to Aunt Mary's in Fulton, but Grandma and Grandpa didn't have a car, so they'd hire Alec Colette to take us. Remember her?
Yeah.
And
11 minutes left on the tape. So
okay, and then we'd stay for a day or so.
What's the matter? It's run
there's
out.
11 minutes left. I said. So
So they were, you know what? They were good days because we didn't know any different.
This Alec
We were
Colette,
very happy.
he come down
Grandpa was
this,
very good to us. Well, he'd pound us up. He always hit us.
Okay.
Grandpa used to hit us.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
with what?
With anything he got, his belt. I got hit many times with the belt.
I've been hit with a belt.
By your father?
Yeah.
You hit him with a belt?
No, I hit him with a belt.
Oh, now who's gonna go to jail? Your wife or your
It's
husband?
11 minutes.
I never
left.
got hit with a belt.
well, you got something coming. You're overdue.
Well, what was the worst thing you did? I know that he gave you the lecture about
Smoking?
catching you smoking. What'd you do to get in trouble? Get hit with a belt.
You got hit because you and Jackie were fighting and Jackie won. And Grandpa hit you and hit you and hit you. Because you shamed the Mody name, remember?
Oh, really?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you should have won the fight?
Yeah.
On what?
You should have won the fight, so you got in
Jackie beat up?
trouble.
Remember Jackie beat you up? And then the next door, we lived in a 3-family house. And the next door were the Harps and then the Klakowskis. And Mrs. Harp would knock on the door, you know, there was nothing for petitions. Rosie, Rosie, what do you want? listen, and she'd take her false teeth out, put them in a glass and rattle them so Grandma could hear them. And she thought that was funny.
Now, Aunt Jay, so you graduated from high school and you decided right away you were gonna did you go to a school for?
I went to Rochester for 6 months.
Where'd you live?
I lived in the mill house.
How'd you get the school?
No,
how'd
I
you
lived
get
in the
money?
greenhouse. Oh, I took the bus to Utica and then a train to Rochester.
But how'd you get the money to live in Rochester while you were there?
It was cheap then, Grandma and Grandpa. I think it was $500 for tuition. They
And
always
you
gave
live
me
with
money.
somebody or
I
live on
lived in
campus?
with a junior teacher. I shared a room with a cousin of mine. And we worked at the YMCA.
Oh.
We were bus girls. We got our meals.
Uh-huh.
We didn't need much money.
Okay, so 6 months you finished school then, and then you came back and you worked for that.
And
Helen?
Helen and Lila, downtown, where the parking lot is.
Lila went to the same school.
Lila went to Syracuse. She went before me. Now I went to Rochester.
But did she do that? Did she end up being a bird?
She did it until she got married, and then she gave it up. She never liked it.
So she moved.
Why didn't you stop when you got married?
She went to Bath, she moved to Bath right away.
I was in the hospital with Barbara, and Grandpa come in and said, and I had given up the beauty shop downtown. Grandpa came in and said, honey, I found you a house. Where we are now, he found that house for us. And he said, you're gonna go to work. Came up from the hospital in February, we bought the house, and I moved in June and opened up the shop.
So he didn't think you shouldn't be working because you're a girl?
Oh yeah, you gotta work. I was only 24, 25. Yeah. So we lived, same house, 55 years, 54 years.
And so that was it then, you cut hair. Did you ever do anything else?
I helped in the restaurant. I always worked in the restaurant so he could have an afternoon off. On my day off, I worked in the restaurant. But I liked it. In fact, I took off 3 months to work in the restaurant. And then I decided, and then I held an Wolfen in partnership, and I said, I'm going back.
Did you get anything special for graduating from school or from your work or anything?
You know, they didn't do that, probably. They didn't have parties or anything. Right, Irm? No,
So what did you think when everybody moved out of the house then? And you were there by yourself?
When they moved out of our house,
Yeah, Aunt Lila must have moved, and then Aunt Jane must have moved.
I thought it was
Hooray, no
I
sisters.
moved in the front
divided.
bedroom. I lived there for,
Did you move in the front bedroom then?
yeah.
Yeah?
You thought, God, my sisters are gone, I can do what I want.
One time, I have to tell you, one time, I was single, and they had a very bad thunder shower, and I always had to go to bed because I had to get up and go to work, so Grandpa would come home and stay with me. I was afraid to go to bed alone. So Grandpa went to bed, I'm in the front bedroom, the thunder and the lightning were horrible. Uncle Irmin and Grandma would close up. And I got so afraid I went and laid on the bed with Grandpa, which is nothing to it, I'm just laying there during the storm. Well, Grandma came home and ran in the front bedroom and says, honey, are you okay? You hear the storm? Yeah, Ma, I got so afraid I went and laid in bed with Grandpa. Well, she meant nothing by it. Now, we have a big, big, big table in the restaurant where all the guys come in. By the way, Danny Wispel has cancer.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he's living with his daughter. Where Danny Wispel, Doug Thomas, all the guys in the quarter, their father. Well,
The Joe
I was
Jocks
single
of them
then.
days.
Everybody went there and sat there and talked the world over. So Grandma goes in the restaurant and says, now this is like a family restaurant. Oh, what a bad storm. My daughter Jeanette got so afraid she went and slept with her father. Well, I go in the restaurant and all the guys are there. Hey, we heard you went to bed with your father last night. I mean, there was no shame whatsoever. We had good days, didn't we? Whether you liked to work or not. We did. It was fun.
Tell me about a birthday that you remember. You remember a birthday as a kid?
Well, they always gave us a gift. My opal, I haven't got it on, was a birthday gift from Grandma.
I never had a birthday party.
Oh,
Never.
why? Well, we probably had a cake.
I don't even recall that.
Well, what did we have for birthday parties? TNT girls always had a party.
They gave me a new Pontiac one year.
Oh, well, and you got a bicycle. I never got a
I got
bicycle.
a bike.
I had to learn how to ride his bicycle, because they favored Irmin. He got a car, he got a bicycle.
I worked for it in the
Well, what the hell
restaurant.
do you think I did?
Do you ever remember any fights, arguments between Grandma and Grandpa?
Actually, no. No, they had a good life. Right, Irm? They had a good life. Grandma
see,
was
what
very
you're-
Nobody ever got
grandmother-
kicked out
Grandma
of
was
the
very
bedroom and
what?
slept on the couch or anything like
My
that?
mother and father?
No.
Oh my God, no.
Grandma was very what?
very hyper, very nervous, because she had a hysterectomy. They didn't have the medications to give you that they do today.
She'd get mad because Tony being a garden and he wouldn't come in, she'd have holler, hey, Tony, lunch is ready. Well, he had to finish 3 rows of beans before he'd come, and she'd be yelling to everybody else, but
When he finished the garden,
he'd come in then,
he
you know,
died.
she'd have everything on the table, he was gonna finish them 3 rows of beans, come
That's
hell or
what
high
happened.
water.
I remember when I was going out or playing poker, I'd come home late, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. Had to get up at 5:30. I'd walk upstairs and he'd go, he'd always do that, let me know. And I'd go,
My cousin Sue Buena used, when we were single, she'd come and stay weekends with me, and then I'd go and stay weekends with her. And we'd go up the stairs, like Irmin said, we'd have our shoes with us, you know. Grandpa would go, both dropped shoes all the way down.
no matter what time I got in, it could be 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, I had to get up that morning.
Did you ever share secrets with them? Did you think that you could talk to them? I mean,
Grandma and Grandpa,
was it like,
they were good parents. They were good parents, you know. They would listen. Oh yeah, like,
Never really got into discussions
No.
about much.
well, we
He
had nothing.
found some condoms in my room one night,
really?
chewed me out, so I was gonna go blind and all this stuff.
You're gonna go for it. That's nice.
Did he know what they were for? They were, you know what? There were no problems with the kids because we had no place to go. They knew where we were all the time.
Well, you had
We
discipline.
had no phones, no cars.
You can't listen to their
Good
parents.
life. You guys will never have that life. I mean, I'm still friendly with the quarter girls. We still go out to lunch now and then. Of course, 2 of them have died, but getting closer. It was a good life. Grandpa wanted you to behave and not shame the Mody name. If I had gotten pregnant, or Lila, or if Irmin had gotten Mary pregnant, he would have killed us. He would have chased us out of the house.
Where was there pregnancy amongst like all the other quarter girls? Did people get pregnant?
Not really, but there were.
Were people using contraceptives? Obviously some were, but
I have no idea because I didn't use them.
no, but you didn't ever, nobody ever talked about it, like having sex, nobody ever.
No. It never entered our mind, you know, in those days. You just,
Well, you didn't have TV like you got today.
like, when I
But
was,
you had boys running around with their hormones, I mean.
well, they
Yeah,
didn't.
but they weren't
They were
seeing
all
things they were
together.
seeing today.
Kids, we used to play kick a can or hunt up or
Yeah. We
stuff
did.
like that every night.
What's Hana?
Hunt up is where you go hide, you have teams, you go hide someplace and the other team has to go find you.
Yeah, that's what we did. We never paired off.
I mean, go hide in the weirdest places and, you know, everybody went, like we had 5 guys on our team, we'd all go different places and hide at night.
You didn't pair off. You might like a fellow, but you didn't pair off with him.
So you never felt like you got enough attention from them then? You're saying your parents gave you enough attention, you didn't feel like...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Grandpa, he was, but you know, if you didn't behave, he'd hit you.
Grandpa liked politics.
They did?
He liked to talk about
Yeah, he was
politics.
big in politics. He was a storyteller. He tells.
Well,
When I come home from after football practice, if I saw a pair of panties hanging on the oven door, I knew Junie Lewis was there and he was telling her stories. She used to pee in her pants all the time. Didn't she?
Yeah.
She did.
She was laughing so hard?
Yeah, she'd pee in her pants, they'd hang them up on the oven door.
So the day she died, she still peed her.
Yeah.
All right, and what's the story behind Shame Shame, which we just heard recently? So,
I don't know. They always said that, shame, shame, everybody knows your name. I don't know how they got started with that. Grandma used to say it.
But I remember Grandpa used to tell stories all the time.
We all got together.
Some were true and some were
We all,
made up as
we
they
all
went
got
along.
together every night at Grandma, almost every night at Grandma and Grandpa's, a whole group of us. And then Grandpa at 9 o'clock, let's say, decided, I've got to go to bed. Get the pan out, put the water in, wash his feet, drink his whiskey and his tea and say, good night, everybody. And by then he told you stories all night, you know, and the kids, the girls loved it. They just loved coming there. So then when Grandpa knew he was going up to bed, we all had to lock the door and go home, go to bed. Yeah, we didn't have TV at home, you know, we just sat around. They played cards.
Listen to
New
radio.
Year's Eve, they all got together and had a party at someone's house. People brought food. Easter, they always hid the Easter eggs. We always had, the group of us got together at night, and the families all had food for us.
Didn't you have May Day?
May Day?
After we played hunt up, I was always afraid to walk home at night. So I used to bribe I had the biggest comic book collection in the state. I used to bribe the kids to walk me home. I'd give them a couple comic books.
Why were you
It
scared?
was dark, we had no lights.
No lights.
No streetlights
I
on
still
them days.
I'm still scared of the dark.
I am too. Well, you know
But I
where,
used to give them comic books if they would walk me home.
you know where Florence Simons lives, next door to the greenhouse? We lived in the alley, you know where we lived? Lila and I were afraid to walk in the dark street. So Florence would walk us. So we'd say to Florence, you wait. We'd put the kitchen light, the dining room light, the living room, and the hall light on. And then we'd say to come back, say, okay, Florence, you can go. We'd turn all the lights off and go upstairs. We never knew what happened to her. She had no phones or nothing.
So were Grandma and Grandpa scaredy cats, or why
No.
was
My
everybody
grandma
out?
was.
Why were you guys scaredy cats and like Florence
My mother made us
wasn't?
that way. My mother made us that way. She was
I remember some nights I couldn't get them to walk me home. We'd be standing on the sidewalk. And we lived, you know where we lived, way down where Kotlowski. I'd be hollering to Mom, "Mom! Mom! Mom!" Come on. All right, Irmin, come on. Run.
Grandpa worked nights, and sometimes I'd have to sleep with her, me or Lila. She didn't like
There was
sleeping.
nobody any faster than me when it was night.
Okay,
So how many minutes you got now of that?
we're done.
Done.
Okay, now, the
How many
next time,
minutes?
we want to hear about you growing up.
If I found the I could say,